Hey everyone and welcome back. With the new DLC, a lot of changes, updates and new additions took place to the game, including some good quality of life changes as well. Some of them were informed or made obvious with the news posts and the patch day notes, and some were not put out anywhere. So I wanted to make this video to inform you all about all of the changes that took place with the new DLC update in case you might have missed them. So without wasting any more time, let's get on with the video. First up is the topic which we are seeing right now. One is that the snorkel doesn't work well on the Walton. Second is that in the Moss Mutual, we can now claim all of the vehicles that are destroyed with just one click. This was requested from such a long time, probably years now, since I think the beginning of GTA Online times. But finally, we have got it implemented in this update. So a good one right away. Next is that the Avenger, MOC and Terabyte can be called nearer to your location if they are already spawned on the map. Earlier we had to send them back to their property and call them back again, but now since it is updated, it saves a lot of time and makes it easier for us all. Talking about the Avenger, we can now buy it even if we don't own the facility or the hangar, which is cool as earlier it was locked and restricted to the facility. One of the new features we got now with the Avenger that is tied to the previous point is that we can now return the Avenger to either hangar or the facility. It doesn't matter if it was stored in the either property earlier, you can just call the Avenger and return it to either of the property in just a few seconds. It makes it easier for running missions or just accessing it. A good quality of life update we got is that the players will now no longer receive phone calls when free falling or parachuting, which will save a lot of players' lives, Another supposedly quality of life update Rockstar made is that now there's a menu option known as register as a boss, which honestly doesn't actually do anything other than add an additional step for us all in registering as a CEO or MC president. If you ask me, this wasn't needed at all. But that's Rockstar, I guess. One of the changes that was not informed to the players was that the payphone hits missions, which you can call Franklin or do them when they just pop up on the map, had its cooldown timer silently increased to 48 minutes, which is an entire day in GTA Online. I mean, this was not at all needed. They didn't pay out huge amounts of money either, and there's literally no sense in why Rockstar did this. Next, we have got one of the cut content from the previous DLC added in this one. It is that now we can choose a custom name for our asset from our acid labs. Earlier we could only choose custom names for the acid lab, but now we can choose for the products as well. Sadly, we can only choose from the given list of names, in which half of them are locked for players to unlock. Also keep in mind that having a custom name gives a boost of 5% to our products when we sell. Not a huge percentage, but still, something is better than nothing, I guess. Now we can call up Charlie, who is a new contact in our phone, and start LSA missions from wherever we are on the map. This is just like the security missions from the agency where we called Franklin for those missions. This feature will save time from us having to call up our Avenger and going there to start up the missions. The downside is that we don't have the ability to choose the particular mission from the list. Another good quality of life update we got is that the map blips have been updated. If you remember earlier, our minimap was cluttered with logos of all our properties that we own. But now, as you can see, it will only show up on our map when we get close to it or turned in that direction when nearby. So no more, cluttered minimap and having a confused state of mind when we take a glimpse at the map. And now the RC time trials are changed as well. Earlier we would get like one RC time trial per week, just like the normal time trials, but now the RC time trials rotate every single day. There's 5 new ones added to the list as well. Although keep in mind the reward prize amount has been reduced slightly to $75,000 from the earlier $100,000. But even then, this is a great deal, as earlier we would get just $100,000 for an entire week. Now we'll be able to make $525,000, $500,000 from just doing these for a minute or two every day in that same time frame. So that's definitely a win. Coming to the vehicles, the Virtue, which got released in the last DLC, had a bug where we could not throw sticky bombs or any throwables from inside if we had the armor upgrade from the Imani tech. It has been fixed and now we can use all of the throwables we want to. And talking about the armor, well, the armored trucks are making a comeback to GTA Online. I'm not sure why Rockstar even removed them in the first place, but they were a lot of fun with all the players in the session fighting to try and get it. On a side note, the limited cars from the previous DLC have been released. It only took them 6 months to release all the cars? Yeah. Coming back to that, if any of you still haven't noticed it yet, then almost 200 vehicles were removed from GTA Online in this DLC. 188 specifically. They are receiving a lot of backlash for this move, and also the feedback page has been removed. Well, you can guess why. The Eclipse Boulevard garage is now split into 5 garages when we call up the mechanic. Earlier, if you see, it was a one full list, which means if you had all of them fully filled, we would have to scroll through 50 of them. So with the new update, we have it divided into 5 garages, making it easier for us all. Talking about the garages, we can now add descriptions to each and every garage, which makes it very much easier to know and find a vehicle we are looking for. Now I have all the vehicles categorized and sorted completely, so it's kinda easier for me, but I know majority of the players don't usually do it this way, so this new feature will come in handy for them. And as we are on the topic of vehicles, the jets have received a nerf. The laser and the Hydra now have a lesser damage radius, and also the bullet speed has been reduced slightly. It doesn't bother players like me that don't go around griefing, so not too bad for us, and also the other players that were being griefed, it's a good news for them. Now, one point I would like to mention here, which isn't exactly an update or an addition, but I kind of found it interesting. The newest jet, the F-160 Reiju, it can somewhat hover upside down. As you can see in the video, I'm trying my best to try and control it. I found out about this accidentally when I took off in a very tight spot and the plane kind of flipped upside down, but it didn't crash. Now I'm sure this isn't intended this way, but it's really weird and defies the physics. Since it was my first time trying it out, I had a little difficulty in handling it, but I'm sure you all can do better with a little bit of more practice. Can't imagine all the crazy stunt videos we'll be seeing in the upcoming days, I guess. Moving on from that, there's close to 400 clothing items added into the game for both male and female characters, so all the best to those who go about dressing up their online characters. Sadly, there's no new tattoos added, but instead there's 2 new hairstyles for male and 1 new hairstyle for female. Along with that, we now have an option to buy all the armor in the ammunition. It was painstakingly slow earlier, having to buy one by one, but now this will make it much faster and easier. Next up, we have got the orbital cannon being fixed. This had a glitch, well, not exactly a glitch, but a system that the griefers abused to annoy players. So that's fixed in this update. I haven't even got the upgrade to my facility because I don't go around killing players, so never even used it till date. The Martin Madrazzo missions can now be done solo. Earlier it needed another player and many players didn't even bother doing them, including me. So now I'll probably give it a try and check them out. Another change that was not mentioned is that the aircraft carrier business battle has been removed. I'm guessing it would conflict with the newest LSA missions taking place on the aircraft carrier, is probably the reason why they removed it. I mean, not that many players used to do them in the first place, so it doesn't really matter, I guess. And now we can call up Ron for hangar source missions from wherever we are on the map. The drawback being that we can't choose what type of products we want to source. So there's one advantage as well as one disadvantage here. The Geralt's Let's Play missions as well as the Super Yacht Contact missions have got their payouts increased by 25%. Contact missions were a good way to grind and make some cash quickly back in the day, but with the recent DLCs from the past 3 to 4 years, the payouts were horrible. The payouts on collectibles and certain free mode events has been increased, not by a huge margin but a very small one. Still, it's not enough for us all to leave our tasks and do those. Another one of those changes that wasn't mentioned is that the Smuggler Plane free mode event now only pays out 2000 RP instead of the 25,000 earlier. I really don't understand why Rockstar felt the need to downgrade this. It's not like a very huge amount in any way, but yet here we are. And if you all haven't got it yet, the new SMG which was added in this DLC is available only in the Gunman. The gun van contents kind of rotate every week or so make sure to go and pick up the gun before it becomes unavailable. The van also keeps changing places every day, so you can make use of this website which shows its location every single day. I'll leave the link in the description, check it out. Next comes the main topics of this DLC. The hangars are the ones that have received the highest number of changes and updates collectively as a whole. So let's get to it now. There's an access point added in the hangar's entrance to the left side which fast travel spawns us in the LSIA near the flight school mark. I'm guessing this is Rockstar's subtle way of telling players that are bad at flying to go and learn to fly better. The hangar has got new staff added in them. This is basically just like the CEO crates warehouses, and they also function the same way too. Our staff contact goes by the name Rooster, and for a small additional cost, he'll source crates for us. Talking about the hangar business, the intro setup mission before starting out the smuggler's business can now be skipped for a small fee upfront. Not sure why anyone would want to skip those missions, but the option is now there. Coming to the business aspect, there's 4 new missions added to the sourcing, and there's also a new selection tab or a pop-up when we choose an item to source. Here you can select if you want to go with the usual air missions or the new ground missions, whichever you are comfortable with. You gotta keep one thing in mind though, this is not a solo friendly business when you go to sell the products. So before you all jump in looking at all these changes, make sure you remember what I just said. With all these changes to the business aspect, there are a few more changes to the hangar property itself. First up being the weapons workshop added on the inside of the aircraft workshop. Helpful for stocking up on ammo or upgrading your weapons. You can also pick up some weapons that are added onto the hangar at certain spots. So go exploring inside of your hangar and get them, I guess. I would rather just visit the ammunition and pick up the ammo rather than waste my time climbing hundreds of stairs and running around the hangar. But hey, these are newly added, so check it out. There's also free snacks option added into your office space. This will come in real handy if you're grinding the business or doing the new missions from the back of the Avenger. And finally, talking about the Avenger, we can now store it in the hangar or the facility, either of them. There's also hangar restricted upgrades that are not available in the facility. So if you're a new player, then you can outright skip the facility and just get the hangar. So there you go guys, lots of changes, updates and additions in this DLC. If I have left out any of them, then do let me know down in the comments. Along with that, do drop the video a like and also make sure to stay tuned by subscribing to the channel as I'll be making more such videos. Thank you all and have a good day.